Okay, so to answer that big question that everybody always asks me, which is, can you actually make money as a writer? My answer is a resounding yes, you absolutely can. I do it. My friends do it. I know people who are millionaires who are writers. So, welcome everybody. Today I'm going to talk about this really nasty rumor that's been going around. And the nasty rumor is that you cannot make money as a writer. I know. You might think that this rumor is true because you've probably, like me, been told it your whole life. I remember when I was graduating from law school and had started a career as a writer, getting a lecture from a judge's wife about how irresponsible it was for me to become a writer. That is how pervasive it is, this rumor that you can't make money as a writer, that you can't make money publishing books, because it was so bad that a stranger felt the need to lecture me on being socially irresponsible to become a writer. This is how passionate I am. This is why I started business school for writers. This is why I started everything that I do and teaching this stuff, because I know writers. J.K. Rowling, okay, turf shitty issues aside and her bad stuff that she says about trans people aside, J.K. Rowling is proof that success can be possible as a writer. And here's why. If she hadn't given away most of her money, she would be a billionaire. She would be on Forbes' list of richest people in the world. As a writer. So if you can't make money as a writer, how do you explain J.K. Rowling? On top of that, she's not just alone. You have, and I have a list, you guys. I made a list. Stephen King, Danielle Steele, E.L. James, James Patterson, Nora Roberts, Rick Riordan. Those people have all made over $11 million in book sales alone. Now, I know that you might be thinking right now, well, I'm not a James Patterson. I'm not a J.K. Rowling. I'm not a Stephen King. Like, I'm never going to have their kind of success. That might be true. You may never have the book sales that they have. But I also know lots of entrepreneurs who found a way to have their book sell other things as well. So you don't have to have millions and millions of books sold to make money as a writer. Think about all the entrepreneurs that have books on the internet that lead to their retreats, to their courses, to their product. Having a book can be and I would say is probably one of the most important parts in a sales funnel, in building a business and a brand, in setting yourself up as an expert. So no, you probably aren't going to make the next Harry Potter, but that doesn't mean that you can't make money off of publishing a book. So I think about all the millionaire writers I know, and I know millionaire writers. I hope to be one someday. If I'm not going to lie, I want to be a multi-millionaire writer. I want to make money off of writing. I want to think of it as a career. I want my writing to support my lifestyle. Now, I am not a big fan of capitalism. I understand that capitalism has issues. And so is art, and capitalism often degrades the people that artists are, the marginalized voices. It often degrades artists. It often doesn't have people to even like validate that for you in your life. But at that same time, while we are in capitalism, writers and artists and people from marginalized voices, queers and radicals and progressives and anarchists, we deserve to thrive. And so I want to encourage you to think of writing as a viable option for money making, a viable option for thriving creatively and professionally. To do that, though, you need to think of your book as more than just this one book you're selling to one reader. So I think oftentimes where writers fail is they have this transaction. Okay, here's a book I wrote, you take it, I take your money. And that is just a single one-time transaction. They don't think of their book as the beginning of a journey that they're going on together with that reader. Now, I understand that it might be easier for people who are writing nonfiction to get this concept, to grasp this concept of how a published book can actually make you money, or how you can make money publishing a book. So if you're a nonfiction, say you're doing something like an instructional book or personal development, you're already teaching something within your book, right? So it's easy to think of other things you could teach along with that, or ways you can expand on your book to teach the thing you're teaching. So you might, like my book, Body Love, 10 Steps to Profoundly Loving Your Body, the book was a way for me to get people to start a conversation about loving themselves and loving their bodies, in the same way that my social media was a way to start the conversation, in the same way that I living my life was a way to start the conversation. It was just another way to begin a conversation about loving your body. I continued that conversation through online courses, through private intimate retreats, through coaching I did. So the conversation was continued through my book, but my book was an easy way for them to start that journey with me. So instead of just thinking of it, okay, cool, you had my book, now like you're great and you're fine and you feel good about your body, or I got your money, now I'm golden. No, instead I thought, okay, how can we continue to talk? How can we continue down this road together? So that's a lot easier for nonfiction to grasp, because you tend to be, already encompassing a sales technique or something that you're teaching within the book itself. But this works for fiction as well. And I know that it's hard for fiction or authors to think that's fine for you nonfiction people, but how would I even start selling these things? I like to think of it this way. So, okay. When was the last time, and maybe it's just me, and maybe it's just how ridiculous my book nerd brain gets, but when was the last time you finished a book and you would have paid money to continue to live in that world? And I think about that with Harry Potter. Like, Harry Potter has fan fiction. Harry Potter has this whole world that's become bigger than the 7-book series, 8 movies, 7 books, 7-book series that it originally was, because people didn't want to leave Hogwarts. They didn't want to leave this magical world that's literally like the magical wizarding world of Harry Potter was bought and sold still, because people didn't want to leave this world. So fiction can create the things adjacent to their book to help to sell this world of theirs, to help to continue to sell this world of theirs. So I think of some examples that I've loved. I personally, my fiction books, as I write them, I keep photos that inspired me of characters, or stories of landscapes, or backstories, or another person's like side story that didn't quite make it into the book. All of those things that I would love to include in the book, but my editor makes me cut because they don't actually go in my book. They don't make sense in this particular book, but there's still a story I have. I bundle those up, and I have them as bonuses that I can offer my readers in exchange for their email address, in which I can offer them something else later. Maybe ask them to bring me to their event to speak. Speaking at events is one of the best ways I know as a writer to start making money. Not only can you get paid for speaking at the event, but being at the event helps you sell books, which can then help you sell other things. It's a symbiotic relationship. So other ways I've done it is taking short stories, or I've seen it done, taking a short story of a minor character and selling it as like a novella. So you might have gotten it published this way, but it's just an ebook over here. So if you love this one random character over here, you can learn more about them through this novella over here for another $5 or $10 or $20 or whatever you want to offer. So I think that there are ways to get creative here. And I think where you find your inspiration is not in fellow writers, although I love the writer community and they have given me so much inspiration in my life. I think if you want to think of book publishing as a larger brand and business, you want to kind of look down the marketing. How are people like Russell Brunson, who runs ClickFunnels and has sold 4 books and is, bestseller? How's he doing it? Dean Graziosi, how's they doing it? Marie Forleo, how did she do it? These people that out in the world that are making marketing happen and have books as well, where do their books play in their overall brand and business? And how can publishing a book help you build a bigger brand and business? Okay, so to answer that big question that everybody always asks me, which is, can you actually make money as a writer? My answer is a resounding yes, you absolutely can. I do it. My friends do it. I know people who are millionaires who are writers. J.K. Rowling was a billionaire before she gave her money away. James Patterson, Nora Roberts, Danielle Steele, these people make it work. And that means that you can too. There are also hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs who make it work online, and you can too. So yes, you can make money off your book, as long as you think of it as something more than just one-to-one singular transaction between you and your readers. As long as you think of it as a journey that you're going on together to build a brand and a business that supports them in the stories that you want to tell and the stories they want to read. That is how you make money publishing a book. Okay. So if that helped you, I hope it helped you ditch that starving artist cliche and thrive, as I say, then I'd love for you to join my Facebook group, the Writer Squad. It's at facebook.com/groups/Writer Squad. The link is always down there as well. And I'd love for you to join us because this is what I care about. You could probably see how passionate I am. And I want to help you ditch that starving artist cliche and thrive. I want to help you figure out how to publish your book. I want to help you figure out how to write your book. I want to help you figure out how to sell your book. All of those things I'm passionate about. And so is the group full of people. So we're in there helping you out. If you have questions, head on over to the Writer Squad at facebook.com/group/Writer Squad or click the link below and we will happily answer them. So I am so excited to hear about how you are going to publish and sell your book, and I cannot wait to read it.